I really like it when you write me back and tell me things you remember or ask me questions. Sometimes I can't remember the answers to the question, but I like it when you respond, because then I know that you remember. Someone, I forgot, who just wrote about something that happened at Oakhurst. Oh, we planted a tree in front of Oakhurst School for Arbor Day. I think we got the tree from the Shade Commission or something for nothing, and we had a great big ceremony out, and this person remembered that, and I like that you remember things that happened.
And Gary Brown remembered we liked pizza and hamburgers.
Right. The cold pizzas and the cold hamburgers. Right. Excuse me. When we got to the intermediate school one year, there was something about needing grade 8. All the kids in grade 8 had to be inoculated or a booster or something for polio. I don't think it was polio. It was some disease, maybe measles. I don't remember. And it was decided, not by me, that we would inoculate all the 8th graders early in the morning on a certain day. Now, we would have 2 stations. One of the stations was Mrs. Dallin. The other station was Dr. Malter. Now, Dr. Malter was a nice person, but kind of gruff on the outside. And the boys and girls really weren't too crazy about him. And so most of them got in Ruth's line, and then we had to move them from Ruth's line to get into Dr. Malter's line. But in any event, I was very concerned. You know, the 8th grade boys are very macho, so they could get injections and nobody would faint, or few would faint. But the girls at 8th grade level are very emotional, and I said, oh, they're going to be fainting and crying and screaming all over the place. What should I do? I remember shaving that morning and thinking, what to do, how? Oh, I thought to myself, okay, say this was kindergarten. What would I do if the kindergartners had to have shots? Lollipops. It's obvious. So, I ran out of the house. My wife thought I was crazy because I didn't even have breakfast. I had to go 4 stores to get 400 and something lollipops. You know, I went to the 7-Eleven on Highway 35. I went across the street. There was another store. I had to go to Oakhurst Monmouth Road. Finally, I got enough lollipops, and I came to school, and I just made it on time. Mr. Donahue already had the victims all lined up. And we started, and I was up on the stage. We had the youngsters, walk up onto the stage, get their inoculation. And as they were getting their inoculation, I guess maybe Mrs. Group or somebody was on one side, I was on the other, and we had all these lollipops. And I would say, what flavor, as they're getting the shot, what flavor would you like? And the kids, I want the red one, the green one, the yellow one, the purple one. And they got their shots, they didn't even know it, and down they went, and I told them to eat the lollipops down in the front of the cafeteria and throw out the covers, the cellophane that covered them, in the baskets we had there, trash baskets, and then they might go back to class. No one fainted, no one threw up, no one cried, because you see, it's my belief that kids are kids. 8th graders are really kindergartners who got taller. And I think in my career I decided that all the kids should have kindergarten right through high school. Because in kindergarten, everyone smiles. In kindergarten, they play with things that they are interested in, and they do things that they're interested in. And all the teachers should present that kind of a program all the way through 8th grade. And when a new project came out, do you remember in Oakhurst School, some of you, Mrs. Bain, she was a wonderful teacher. And she took, I think they called it building, or they used heavy cardboard, saws, hammers, glue, and they constantly were building things. What they built was furniture from the American Revolutionary time. Wonderful. And the saws would be going. I don't think the neighboring teachers were so keen on it because there was a lot of noise coming from there. But we selected the kids for there, and they learned to measure, and they learned to write about what they were doing, and they learned all sorts of wonderful things. It might not have been exactly in the order of the textbook. And, of course, Oakhurst School was the only one that would permit such a thing. And the final test, the last day of the year, the class came down to my office in Oakhurst School. They were 5th graders, I think. And they took me back to Mrs. Bain's room upstairs in the original wing. And I had to sit on the bench they made out of cardboard. And if I didn't collapse it, then she would give them all an A. Well, I wasn't so keen on that. It was like going up in the thing at Oakhurst School when I had to go up in the
cherry picker.
Cherry picker, yeah. I wasn't so sure. But the kids were very good. One stood on each side and they held my elbows so I wouldn't fall too far. And I sat down on the bench and it worked. It was fine. What a wonderful year that was. And of course it was funded by the Federal Department of Education, and as soon as it succeeded, they removed all the money, and of course it was very costly because all those materials cost money. So I only think it lasted 1 year, but it was a wonderful, wonderful program.
Oakhurst was a charter school before we had charter schools.
Right. Now, there was another time that we took a course in the summer. It was called the Smoking Project.
Berkeley Smoking.
Right. Berkeley, California came from. Smoking Project. Okay? And that was very interesting. And a whole team went to be trained at Monmouth College. The team consisted of Barbara Thompson, the learning consultant, Ruth Dallum, the nurse, the principal, me, and the 6th grade teachers, or 5th grade teachers, and the health teacher, Miss Eifert. So we went there. I think it was 3 full weeks, all day for 3 weeks. And we went there, and we did all the things in the project that the kids would do. So one of the things was we had to blow up lungs.
Cow lungs.
Cow lungs, right. And with straws or something to see how lungs work. And we had to draw, the first day we had to draw put things down like they did in kindergarten, and you outline yourself, that's what we had to do. We were all down on the floor drawing. And I think there was 2 people working together. Well, in any event, it was time to get up, and one of the teachers didn't get up. And Miss Eifert said to him something that I will never forget. We laughed and laughed for days. It was Mr. Stark. Mr. Stark's first name was Chuck. And Miss Eifert looked at him, and he was the one sitting still on the floor, and said, "Up, Chuck."